So, Miraculous Grendiaper just wrapped up, and honestly, it was intense. Anyone who's ever been bullied would completely relate to what Zoey felt. That deep, burning need to make those awful bullies pay for what they did. They were cruel, heartless, and just plain wicked. And honestly, you could feel every ounce of Zoey's anger. Like they deserved the worst treatment ever. So everything that Zoey did in this episode was on point. In my head, I was screaming, clapping, cheering her on. I was so into it, I wished it would never end. However, the big question is, what would happen when Ladybug finds out the truth that Zoey is Fury? I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen, but first, let's get into the episode breakdown. It starts off with Zoey being hopeful for the start of the new school year. She also gives some encouragement to the former mayor, who's now chasing his dream of reopening his movie house and becoming a producer. However, her first day at school turns out to be her biggest nightmare. Her old bully from New York, Ray, is enrolled in this school too. The same person who once made her do terrible things to others just so she wouldn't be bullied herself. It was such a painful reminder of her past. She left New York to escape that torment, but now it feels like her nightmare has followed her all the way to Paris. Coincidentally, by the way. Now, there's more. The worst part, it wasn't just that Ray followed her from New York. It's that he kept holding that past over her head. He blackmailed her, threatening to expose everything she did in New York if she ever interfered with whatever pranks and bad deeds he and his goons wanted to carry out in the school. Zoey desperately wants that part of her life buried, so every time she thinks about stopping them, Ray's threat hits like a punch. It traps her in a corner, leaves her frozen and helpless, unable to move. They pulled off a series of nasty pranks at school, littering, almost smashing Zoey's phone, and even setting up a fake message to stir trouble between Adrian and Marinette. Thankfully, Adrian saw through it and knew Marinette would never do something like that. But it didn't end there. They also bullied Sabrina, took away her book forcibly, and treated Sublime so horribly. Zoey had finally had enough. She made a detailed list of everything they had done and reported it all to Principal Damocles. He seemed to take it seriously at first, calling in their parents so they could face the consequences. But that plan fell apart fast. Ray's father was a powerful figure in Paris, and his influence shut the whole thing down. Nothing was done, and everything went right back to square one. On the bus back home, she met a rude boy who kept picking on little babies, and the driver wasn't any better. He refused to stop for a passenger in a wheelchair and just drove off without a thought. Still on her way home, Zoey witnessed yet another injustice. Bob Roth and his son were using someone's house to shoot a commercial without permission. They locked the owner outside and carried on like it was nothing, completely ignoring her. Zoey watched all this, feeling sick of how cruel and inconsiderate people could be. But the worst part came when she finally got home. Her stepfather, the former Mayor Bourgeois, was being harassed by people at his movie house. Some rough dudes making ridiculous demands and threatening to chase away all his customers while he tried to keep things together. Watching all of this, after everything that had happened that day, completely broke Zoey. Overwhelmed and furious, she transformed into Vesperia, only to find that her suit had changed. Pauline explained that the transformation reflected her emotional state. All the anger, pain, and frustration she had carried throughout the day showed through in her new look. Zoey finally snapped. She'd had enough. She remembered every single person who had done something cruel or heartless that day, and she decided she wasn't going to let any of them get away with it. That night, she took matters into her own hands. She started with those 3 wicked boys, swinging them from their ship ride to a roller coaster. I was so happy. Then she went after that selfish, insensitive bus driver who had refused to stop for a person in a wheelchair. He got what was coming to him too, the annoying kid who kept picking on babies. She humiliated him by dressing him up like one. And Bob Roth, along with the bullies who had tormented Mr. Bourgeois, they all faced Zoey's version of justice. She wanted them to finally understand the pain they'd caused, to feel embarrassed and uncomfortable enough to learn their lesson. But of course, it didn't end smoothly. The baby hater she'd humiliated ended up getting akumatized, unleashing chaos all over Paris. Once again, Ladybug and her team had to also come to the rescue of every single person Fury had dealt with, saving those 3 idiots from the roller coaster, Lousy Bob Roth and the lazy bus driver. To be honest, I was really pissed that they had to save those rotten people. They would have just left them there the whole day. Like, all superheroes don't have to be good. We need to have superheroes who are also bad too. Not like bad though, but you know what I mean. I don't even want to get into everything Ladybug said in this scene. She went on about how wrong Fury was in doing whatever she was doing and blah blah blah. Honestly, I couldn't care less. I wasn't in the mood for any of that. Sometimes Ladybug just talks too much, sounding like a total nag and making everything feel dull and annoying. Her speech made it look like Zoey was in the wrong, which I completely disagree with. From my perspective, Zoey was doing the right thing, finally standing up to those awful people. But because she's such a good person at heart, she actually started to feel guilty, even though she had no reason to. But I'm glad she didn't let the boring speech change her decision. She's still gonna keep being Fury and still kicking asses. In the end, things actually turned out better. Zoey saw that her dad wasn't gonna be pushed around anymore. He had hired a tough assistant, a Nancy, and the bullies backed off. It proved something powerful. The best way to stand up to bullies is to show strength. Bullies are cowards at their core. They only pick on people they think are weaker than them. But the moment you show you're strong, even when you have to act like it and won't be intimidated, they back down. Sublime's strategy works too. Make them feel that all they do isn't important at all. Ray intentionally bullied Sabrina and was observing Zoey to see her reaction, to know if she was affected or not. They just derive satisfaction seeing others tremble in sight of them. Now for the big question, what will Ladybug do when she eventually discovers that Zoey has been acting as Fury all this time? Even after she had clearly stated, and from her own perspective, that Fury's actions were causing more harm than good in Paris. Well, the answer seems pretty clear. Ladybug will probably have to take the Be Miraculous away from her. After all, Zoey completely went against Ladybug's rules and ignored her warnings about using the Miraculous for personal reasons. This is where Sublime comes in, and this is probably why she was even introduced into the show in the first place. Another beautiful blonde character, perfect for the Be Miraculous. More details on why Sublime gets the Be Miraculous can be seen in this video. The link would be in the description. The only way Zoey can keep her Be Miraculous is by overcoming Ray's blackmail about her past as a bully in New York. The real reason she hides behind her Fury persona to punish wrongdoers in Paris is because she lacks the confidence to face people as herself. Deep down, she's afraid they'll see her as a hypocrite, someone who used to be part of the problem. Until Zoey forgives herself and damns the consequences of her secret being revealed, she'll never truly be free. If Ray releases the video, yes, people will be shocked at first. But with time, they'll move on and forget, especially when they see how much she's changed. Besides, most people have their own problems to think about. These kind of things dies out eventually. Her friends, including Marinette and the rest, can stand by her and prove she's no longer that same person. Once these things pass, Zoey can finally have the courage to stand tall as herself. That's when she can be trusted fully with the Be Miraculous. That's it for now, guys. Don't forget to like this video and follow. Until next time.